for that infinite consciousness to experience itself in multiple ways, this world was created. So Paramatma to pehla, dunya to pehla kuch hai hi nahi siga Paramatma to ilawa. It was just WhyGuru, right? Before this universe was created, it was just WhyGuru. So there was nothing to experience. There was only WhyGuru. So Paramatma hi siga kalla, fir Paramatma sirf kalla siga, so you couldn't experience WhyGuru. So WhyGuru created this world so WhyGuru can be experienced. And this pankti just came to me earlier today, and it just blew my mind as to how amazing our Guru is. And our Guru Granth Sahib Ji is telling us all these things already, and we're just slowly discovering these things. Maharaj say, Apina aap saaj, aap pashaniya. That WhyGuru created himself so he himself can be understood, so he himself can be experienced. This was so amazing. In Asa Divar, Maharaj say, Apina aap saajyo, apina rachyo. Now that WhyGuru created himself, and WhyGuru created this naam that we're reciting. Dui kudrat sajiya kar asan ditho chao. That WhyGuru fashioned this creation, made this whole universe. And not just that, WhyGuru which baithya vi hoya apni creation de vich. Kar asan ditho chao. WhyGuru is sitting within that creation as well. How amazing is that? So essentially, what we're talking about is WhyGuru created all of us so that we can experience love. So we can experience that struggle. So we can experience that yearning. So we can experience that longing. And that longing, that yearning is fruitful when we reunite with WhyGuru. So this world is like a game. And for us to win this game, we need to experience WhyGuru in this lifetime. So what WhyGuru did was, WhyGuru created this world, and he put a veil of forgetfulness on top of this world, which we call Maya, this illusion that keeps us separated from WhyGuru, that keeps us from connecting with WhyGuru. That veil of forgetfulness doesn't let us remember WhyGuru. So WhyGuru put that veil of forgetfulness on top of this world. So the game is that we need to remember WhyGuru so that we can uplift that veil of forgetfulness and then reunite with WhyGuru. So Maharaj say in Gurbani, they say, Maya agan sab eko jehi karta khel rachaya. In Anand Sahib, we read this every day. Maharaj say, Maya agan sab eko jehi. There's fire within us in a mother's womb, but there's fire outside of us as well in the form of Maya. And this Maya makes us forget our true self. This Maya is something that is preventing us from connecting to our true self. So Maharaj say, Karta khel rachaya, that WhyGuru is the one that created this whole play. Ye Paramatma di rachna hai, ye Paramatma da khed hai. Asi ethe khedan aaye hain. Asi ethe pyar karan aaye hain. Asi ethe Paramatma nu milan aaye hain. So we can experience WhyGuru. That's what we are here for. So the reason why Maharaj keep on telling us to do sermon is because we have forgotten who we are. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਭੁੱਲ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੌਣ ਆ So think about this. There's an endless ocean, that's WhyGuru. Each and every drop that comes out of that ocean is each of us as individual beings, and that's the soul. So each and individual soul is like that individual drop of water in that infinite ocean, which is Paramatma, that's WhyGuru. Now it's the journey of that individual drop of water to merge back with that big ocean. That's what we're here to do. So that's why Maharaj keep on telling us to remember WhyGuru, Cheta karo Paramatma nu, Simran karo. So remembering WhyGuru through Simran is essentially remembering who we are. Is essentially trying to recognize our origin. So Maharaj say, So prabh dur nahi, prabh tu hai. That Paramatma dur nahi hega. Paramatma kaun hai? You are Paramatma. You are Paramatma. You are Paramatma. Each and every one of you, myself, everybody is Paramatma. Why? Because this Atma is Paramatma. This soul is part of God. So each and every one of us is actually God. But we haven't realized that. We've forgotten that. And that is the game that we're in. So to remember God, we've been given a name. So in every religion, there's a name for God. For us, that name is WhyGuru. That Gurmantar that we've been given is WhyGuru. So if you think about it, this Gurmantar of WhyGuru reminds us to uplift that veil of darkness, that uplift that veil of forgetfulness, and come into the light of remembrance. So if you break down WhyGuru, Wahi meaning astonishment, Ascharj jinu kende Punjabi de vich, Gu is that darkness of ignorance, that forgetfulness, and Ru is a light of self-realization. So when we chant WhyGuru, Paramatma nu ta koi benefit nahi hona da. WhyGuru is not benefiting from this. We are the ones benefiting. Why? Because when we chant God's name, WhyGuru's name, through this understanding, we're going from the darkness of forgetfulness to the light of self-realization. We're trying to rediscover who we are. We're going on this journey of discovering our true self. So even in Gurbani it comes, Mantu Jot Sarup hai apna mool pachan, that, oh my mind, you are the embodiment of this divine light. Recognize your true origin. We're not this body. We're not this mind. We are this soul that is here on a journey to meet Paramatma. That's who we truly are. Apna mool pashan. So I thought that was really cool. Discovered this recently, and I thought that was something really nice to share. It kind of puts things together as to why we are here and what we are here to do. So Sangaji, whenever the Gregorian New Year comes, everybody gets pumped up and everybody makes New Year's resolutions. Who here has made New Year's resolution in their life ever? Changi tara chakko hath. Okay, I have made New Year's resolutions as well. And essentially, the reason why we do that is because we want to change our life. We want to break away from bad habits. We want to adopt good habits. We want to live a better life. We want to be a better version of ourselves. That's what we do it for. And the mool, the jad, or the root of that is we all want to be happy. Who here wants to be happy? Raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand, that means you don't want to be happy. Okay, everybody wants to be happy. Exactly. That's what we're here to do. So Guru Arjan Desai Ji is saying that we can all do something that can make us happy permanently. This happiness isn't going to be temporary. It will be long-lasting. That permanent happiness we can get if we do something. So what is that something that we can do is in the Bani of Barah Maha Maanjh, in the month of Chet, Guru Arjan Desai Ji is saying, Chet Govind Aradhya Hova Anand Kana. That in this month of Chet, Chete Karo. Chet means to remember, Chete Karna. But who are we to remember? Asi kinu chete karna is mahine de vich. Maharaj say Govind, the creator of the whole universe. Onu chete karna, Paramatma nu chete karna. Essentially, asi jo Paramatma nu chete karde hain, that means we're trying to remember who we are, because we are Paramatma as well. So Maharaj say that this is the month of remembrance. This is the month to remember WhyGuru. This is the month to go on a journey to rediscover who we truly are, rediscover our origin, which is Paramatma, which is WhyGuru. So what is the benefit of remembering God? Why do we want to do it? And Maharaj give us an answer in the same pankti. They say, Hova Anand Kana, that when we remember WhyGuru, we get this profound joy, this bliss, which is permanent happiness, which we all want. That's what we get. And this permanent happiness is kana, kana meaning continuous bliss. Continuous, profound joy is what we get out of this. We all want to be happy. So if we all want to be happy, what we need to do is remember WhyGuru. So this anand, this bliss that Maharaj is talking about, isn't something that's far-fetched, isn't something that we cannot attain. It's very much achievable. But as we chant God's name, we start to experience that bliss. We start to experience that anand. And we start to experience who we truly are and what we are here to do. And we start to experience WhyGuru as we chant God's name. And the more sadhana we do, the more bliss that we experience. But if we stop doing that sadhana, if we stop remembering WhyGuru, then what happens? We stop experiencing that bliss. So the key is to be consistent. The key is to remember WhyGuru, to do Simran every single day, consistently. If we do it one day and not do it the other day, if we do it once in a week, once in a month, that's great. Chalo, at least kuch ta karde pe hain. At least we're remembering WhyGuru at some point. But if we don't do it every single day, then we're not able to experience that anand kana, that Guru, that Maharaj is talking about, that Gurbani is talking about, that continuous anand. So Sangaji, just to put this into perspective, just like we wash dishes in our house, Who here washes dishes? Kede bande dhonde a bhande? I'm seeing you. Very good. I'm glad that the guys also raised their hands. So if we don't wash dishes, then the dishes, they pile up at the end of the day, yes? So just like that, if we don't do Simran, what happens? All the dirt of jealousy, of enmity, of hatred, of ego, of anger, frustration, irritation, all of that starts to pile up as well. And then we're left with negativity in our lives. But if we wash dishes bit by bit throughout the day, holi holi appa saaf kari chahiye pande, then they don't pile up. And just like that, if we do Simran every single day, slowly, consistently, then that negativity won't pile up. Then the Panchachor won't be able to gang up on us and won't be able to influence us as much as they will if we don't do Simran. And I'm pretty sure each and every one of us have experienced the power of the Panchachor. The Panchachor meaning Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Kam meaning desires, Krodh meaning anger, Lobh meaning lust, greed, Moh meaning attachment, and Ahankar meaning egotistical pride. All of these things, they start to gang up on us and they take over us. And what ends up happening, they start to influence our actions. We start to become their puppet. And then we act under their influence. Sanu gussa aanda rehanda hai, assi chidi janne ha, assi khiji janne ha sareyan de naal. That's what happens when these Panchachor take a hold of us. So Sangat Ji, this Simran that we're talking about isn't something that is not achievable. We can do Simran at any point. We can do Simran when we're walking, when we're eating, when we're washing dishes, when we're doing laundry, when we're going to work, or when we're going to school, when we're waiting for the bus, or when we're doing whatever we're doing in our life. We can incorporate Simran in our life. But on top of that, if we can set aside 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and do Simran sitting down with pure consciousness and focus, that is very beneficial as well. So think about it this way. Everybody imagine a river, and a river is flowing, and you're getting these nice currents, and then it's raining on top of the river, and that water in the river is being replenished. So let's say that it stops raining for a prolonged period of time, for years, let's say. What's going to happen to that river? The water is going to evaporate, and all that's left behind is sand. That water is going to go away, and you have sand left behind. So just like that, Simran is that rain that is giving us that anand inside. That anand is like that river that keeps on flowing. As long as we keep on doing Simran, that anand keeps on flowing within us. We keep on experiencing that anand within us. But when we stop doing Simran, then our inside gets dried out. So what is the nishani, what is the symptom of someone that isn't reciting God's name, that isn't reciting Gurbani, that isn't remembering our true origin? What is the symptom of that? We get irritated, we get frustrated, sanu gussa aanda rehanda hai, we get sensitive over the littlest things bother us, and we get really sensitive. I'm not going to point fingers at anybody. I know everybody too personally, but not everybody, but that's what we experience. ਅਸੀਂ ਖਿੱਜੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਸ ਲੜਾਈ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਧਿਆਉਂਦੇ. That's the symptom of someone that doesn't remember WhyGuru. So that's why Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji keep on telling us to do Simran. Parmatma nu chete karo. But if we're not able to do Simran, that means we lack motivation. We don't have that inspiration to do Simran. So then there's a solution for that as well. Guru Arjan Dev Sahib Ji say, Sant jana mil paiya rasna naam pana. That meeting those saintly beings, Sant jana, meeting those saintly beings, we can find that inspiration in the company of those saintly beings. And what happens when we come into the company of those saintly beings? Paiya, we get something. So what do we get in the company of saintly beings? We get two things. One, we get inspiration to japanam. We get inspiration to remember WhyGuru. And two, we obtain the technique of how to remember WhyGuru. Some of us don't even know how to remember WhyGuru. Some of us don't even know how to connect with WhyGuru. And we're all on this path together. So Maharaj here is telling us, giving us a technique of how to connect to WhyGuru. And what is that technique? Maharaj say quite visibly, they're saying Rasna Naam Pana. Rasna meaning tongue, Naam meaning name of God. Pana is a specific technique. Pana means to recite God's name with your tongue with your mouth, but going from louder to quieter to quieter. So first, we're going to do this as well. We're going to do this practically because this is a month of Chait and we really want to get this. We really want to reunite with WhyGuru. This is our aim, okay? So we're going to do this practically. So this is something that we can take back with us and do this continuously, at least for 30 days. And then when the next Katha comes, we'll reevaluate where everybody's at. So first, we are going to say WhyGuru's name out loud, so that we're going to say it from our mouth and listen through our ears. And the reason why we're going to say it out loud is because our mind is going to be distracted. Our mind is everywhere. It's so immersed in this world that it's going to be distracted. So by saying it out loud, we're trying to focus our mind onto that Gur Mantar. And then we're going to say it a bit slower. And then we're going to say it a bit more slower, a bit more quieter, and just using our breath. We're going to say, like that. And then the last stage is we're going to say it in our mind and then experience that stillness. Okay, is everybody ready? We're going to do Simran now. Everybody sit straight, back straight, and make sure that your shoulders are aligned with your back. And a way of knowing if you're getting distracted is if you start slouching and if your head comes down. It's not me saying it. It's Sant Varyam Singh Ji that said this in one of their kathas. We'll talk about them as well. That if a nishani, a way of knowing that if we're getting distracted, if our mind is not connecting, is when we start slouching like this, or when we are moving our head down and we start to get a bit too relaxed. So we're going to keep our back straight and we're going to close our eyes, hands in front or wherever you want to place your hands, whatever helps. And we're going to do Simran only for 2 minutes, but we're going to do it in those 4 stages that we talked about. And I'm going to transition from one stage to the next. So keep your ears open and listen to my voice as well, as long as your own voice, as well as your own voice that you're using to do Simran. So we're going to get started. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru. WhyGuru, 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 WhyGuru. WhyGuru. In your mind now. Breathe in Vahe. Exhale Guru. WhyGuru. This is the technique that has been shared by saintly beings that tell us how we can fulfill the purpose of our life, how we can connect to WhyGuru in this life, because they themselves have already reached there. They've gotten out of that game and they're telling us how we too can get out of this game so we can recognize our true self, our true form. So Maharaj tells us to recite WhyGuru, God's name, with our tongue first, because the more we recite it with our tongue, the more it starts to get internalized. So we start off with reciting it with our tongue, and then it goes in, and then we're reciting it in our mind. And when we're walking, when we're eating, when we're cooking, when we're driving, whatever we're doing, that Simran is continuing. And that way it becomes second nature. It doesn't require any conscious effort. So when Simran gets internalized, we start to clean all of the stains that are on our mind, not just from this janam, but from all the previous lives, the stain of enmity, of jealousy, slandering, gossiping, whatever it is that is keeping us separated from WhyGuru, all of that starts to go away, it gets washed away. So if we want to do bhakti, the hard work of remembering WhyGuru amongst all the distractions, we need inspiration from the Sangat. And this is what we are here to do. This is why we're going through this Bani of Barah Maha Maanjh, so we get that inspiration. So the reason why the company of saintly beings, we find Anand in the company of saintly beings, is because they're out of this game, is because they're not attached to this world. They're not affected by the Panch Chor. They're already away from all of that. They're not influenced by them anymore. So Sangaji, we can get inspiration in the company of saintly beings, and such an example I've experienced in my own life with Maharaj's Kirpa when we were in Vidyalaya Basics of Sikhi school, so to speak, the Vidyalaya. And all the students, they got to go and meet these saintly beings in Birmingham. And we went from basically one Mahapurkh getting blessings from one Mahapurkh to the next. And that was like the best time of my life, apart from getting married, of course. But that was one of the best times of my life. And we met this great Mahapurkh, this great saintly being who was Bhai Harbhajan Singh Ji Sagguji. And we all went to see Sagguji, and they welcomed us so nicely and with so much love, so much humility. And on their face, it was so radiant. You can tell the power of Simran. Unhone kinna Simran kita, kinni kamai kiti, unna de mukh te disda siga. So we, had the opportunity to talk to them. And at the end, we were all ready to get up and, say Fateh and leave. And we were all standing in a circle. I still remember it till today. We were all standing in a circle and we said our Fateh to Sagguji, and they started doing Simran. So we were doing Simran standing, and we kept on doing Simran. And that Simran was, we have no idea how long we did that Simran for, maybe an hour, but it didn't feel that long. It just felt like for 5 minutes, ਅਸੀਂ ਖੜੇ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ, Simran ਕਰਦੇ ਰਹੇ. And some of the Vidyalaya students, they said that Simran stayed with them for about a year at least. That every single day they did Simran consistently for a year. And this is just one amazing saintly being, the company of those that inspired us to do Simran, to incorporate Simran in our life. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ Simran ਚਲਾਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ. Whether we were able to keep up with it or not, ਉਹ ਚਲੋ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ ਖੇਡ ਆ, ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੀ ਖੇਡ ਆ, but they just getting the darshan, just being in the company of such amazing souls, you get that influence, get that inspiration. That's what Maharaj is talking about. Santa jana mil paiya rasna naam pana. So you might think now, ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਢੂੰਡੀਏ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖ? Where do we find these saintly beings then? Well, they're not far away from us. They're everywhere. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them on SoundCloud. Some of them, that the trusted ones that I personally love listening to, is Sant Baba Hardev Singh Ji Lulo Wale. They're hilarious. If you understand Punjabi, ona di katha suno. They're so good. There's Sant Baba Inderjeet Singh Ji Rakbe Wale, Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji Rada Sahib Wale. There's Sant Baba Varyam Singh Ji that I mentioned that showed us the technique of Simran. They're all on there on YouTube, just waiting for us to discover. So these Sant Mahapurukhs, their teachings are not far away from us. They're readily accessible to us, so we can take advantage of that as well. So another source of inspiration for me has been the Basics of Sikhi TV series, the Gurmukhi series, where they talk about the life of different Mahapurukhs and their love story, if you will, of how they, lived their life and then reunited with WhyGuru, how they found that love, found that WhyGuru, found that connection with WhyGuru and reunited with WhyGuru. I think that, for me, has been the source of inspiration for quite some time now. So talking about Sant Mahapurukh, I was listening to the life of Sant Baba Nand Singh Ji. So those that don't know who they are, they're the founder of Nanak Sar Sampradaya. They're, Sant Mahapurukh. And they have done a lot of penance in their life. They've done a lot of bhakti. They had a lot of kamai. And one day they came to Baba Maha Singh Ji, who were the Mahapurukh that they were learning under. And they came to them and they said, I want darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. They said, I want to see, mera man lochda, mera man locha, Guru darshan tai. My mind is yearning to get the darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji. Essentially what they're saying is, I want to reunite with Paramatma and get out of this game, basically. So then Mahapurukh, they said, "Itna sokha nahi haiga. You can't, just get darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Sahib Ji willy-nilly. Thoda kam karna pehna hai, hard work karna pehna hai." So they said, I'm willing to do anything. And Mahapurukh, they said, okay, you can do Mool Mantar da Jap from Ik Onkar all the way to Nanak Hosi Pi Sach 125,000 times within the 40-day period. Imagine, Sawa lakh wari Mool Mantar da Jap karna in 40 days. And they didn't just do this, that's it. They had done a lot of other things as well, a lot of other jobs, they read a lot of Gurbani, did a lot of Simran as well. So then Baba Nand Singh Ji said, okay, I'll do this. They went off and they started doing their bhakti. And they came back, something had changed within. They came back to Mahapurukh and they said, initially I was able to focus, I was able to concentrate, and mera man lag gaya siga, mool mantar de vich, jap de vich. But something changed and I cannot focus anymore. Mera man nahi jod reha, mera man nahi lag reha. I don't understand what it is. And Sant Mahapurukh, they said, this is a test. That when we go from one spiritual avastha, one spiritual level to the next, to the higher one, spiritual awareness, the higher spiritual awareness, sada man plays tricks, our mind plays tricks. So Baba Harnam Singh Ji, Maha Harnam Singh Ji, they said to keep on going, don't stop, persevere, keep on doing this job, because you will feel that anand at the end. Don't stop, don't give up. Sometimes, it happens to us as well. Sada man nahi lagda Gurbani de vich, sada man nahi lagda Simran de vich, assi kehne chhaddo para ki karna. Assi ruk janne ha, we stop. But the moral of this story is to not stop, to never give up. Keep on doing Simran, keep on reading Gurbani, keep on doing your Nitnem, because we will feel that anand eventually as well. It might not be right away, but we are feeling that, experiencing that anand at some point. So that Simran, that Gurbani might be doing something in our life that we cannot even see. It might be in the background, but we don't see it. So don't give up. So Maharaj going to say, Jin paya prab apna aye tis hai gana. Those that have accepted God, jinha ne Paramatma nu pa liya, those that have obtained God, aye tis hai gana. That fruitful is their coming, successful is their coming into this world. And we too can do this. It's not just for Sant Mahapurukh, it's for us as well. Those saintly beings, the reason why they have obtained WhyGuru is because all of the previous lifetimes that they have done bhakti. We're only seeing that in this lifetime. We're like, oh, we want that as well. But asi kitthe hain gaye, asi tahe ture hi nahi. We haven't even started, we haven't even moved yet, and we want, that big result. We need to start from somewhere. We need to move and we need to do something in order to get to that point. So this is why the goal of this month that we're setting now is, one, we're going to reflect on where our mind is at every single day, to see where our mind is, what is it remembering, the world or WhyGuru. And the second goal is every single day for 30 days, we're going to do Simran consistently. If it's for 5 minutes, do it for 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is, do it consistently. And I'm glad that VG is here today because I was going to mention the app, Insight Timer app, that I use personally to track my progress and do Simran every single day, try to. So basically with that timer, there's a bell that goes on with it, and it's really nice, and it's not like an alarm clock that scares you when you're like, meditating. It's really nice and really calmful. It helps you. And you're able to track your progress as well. It motivates you. If you do 3 days and then it says, oh, your next goal is 7 days. If you do 7 days, next goal is 10 days. It keeps on motivating you to do more and more. So that app, VG introduced it to me by Amadeep Singh Ji. And I've been using it ever since, and it's been really good. And we use it in our Gurbani Santhya classes as well. So those that can download the app, do it. So use that to track your Simran every single day for 30 days. That's something that we're going to do together. So Maharaj going to say, Ek kin tis bin jeevana birtha janam jana. That kin meaning that time it takes for us to blink our eye, even for that instant, living without God's name, even for an instant, is like our life is being wasted. And jana means to know. So here Maharaj is saying, know that if we don't remember WhyGuru, even for an instant, our life is being wasted. So just to put this into perspective, I know some of you have already heard this Sakhi thanks to Sadaji, and they mentioned it already, but I'm going to reiterate it, and it's good to, listen to it again. So there was a conversation between two sadhus. They were having a conversation, and they were asking each other, Raat kidda langi, how was your night? So this wasn't something that was uncommon. Sadhu just means someone that is putting the hard work, doing the penance. And it isn't uncommon for two people that are on the same path to ask each other, how is it going? How are you doing spiritually? So they can help each other. So this is something that we don't do nowadays, but back in the days it was quite common. So they said to each other, Raat kidda langi, how was your night? And one of the sadhus, he said, Main ta puri raat marya hi reha. I was dead the whole night. And the other sadhu said, Main kade jee penda si, kade mar janda si, kade jee penda si, kade mar janda si. Sometimes I would be alive, sometimes I would be dead. That's how my night went along. And there was a guy listening to their conversation, and they said to the sadhus, they said, Sadhu ho ke tusi jhoot boli janne ya. Ek ta kehna main marya hi reha. Duja kehna main kade mar janda si, kade jee penda si. You guys are lying because you're alive and sitting in front of me. Why are you lying? The sadhus, they said, ਇੱਧਰ ਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੀਏ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਸੀਗਾ. They said, one of the sadhus, he said, the one that said I was dead throughout the whole night, he said, I was asleep and I didn't remember WhyGuru in my sleep. I didn't remember God in my sleep. It was as if I was dead. And the other sadhu said, I was dead when I was asleep and didn't remember God. But when I would wake up, I would remember God. So this way I was dead, I was alive, dead and alive, back and forth. So Sangaji, the moral of the story is when we forget WhyGuru, it's like we're dead. Because the Panj Chor, they start to gang up on us. They take control over us. They start to influence our actions. Even in Gurbani, it says, Akha jiva visare mar jao. Sare akho, Akha jiva visare mar jao. Akha jiva visare mar jao. Maharaj is saying, Akha jiva. Je asi Paramatma da naam dhyaande ha, fir asi jeende ha. If we chant God's name, we're alive. Visara, je sanu Paramatma visar jave. Remember, we're talking about forgetfulness. If we forget who we are, fir apa mare hi ha. Then we're dead. So this story doesn't mean that hun asi morche chok liye, asi raat nu soiye hi na, asi raat nu hun uth ke simran kari chaliye. That's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is that we need to dedicate 10% of our time within the 24-hour period, jinu kende 10% of our time, dedicate it to Simran, to reading Gurbani, to doing our Nitnem. So what is that 10% of 24 hours? Roughly, it's about 2.5 hours, 2.4 hours if you want to be specific, but 2.5 hours of our time in the day dedicated to Gurbani, dedicated to Simran, dedicated to WhyGuru. So Maharaj go on to say, Jal thal mahil purya ravya vich vana. Where is this God that we're to remember? Where is this God that we want to connect to? What is his address? Kithe hai Paramatma? Guru Arjan Dev Sai Ji say, Jal thal mahil, jal de vich, in water. Thal meaning in dry places like deserts. Mahiyal can be broken into two words. Mahi meaning land, Al meaning sky. WhyGuru is on the land, WhyGuru is in the sky. WhyGuru is everywhere. Purya, pervading everywhere. Ravya Vichvana. That WhyGuru is within, Vana meaning jungles. WhyGuru is within each and every blade of grass. WhyGuru is within each and every cell that is there. Each and every cell of our body, each and every atom. WhyGuru is in each and every atom. WhyGuru is everywhere. These things we don't see, but WhyGuru is everywhere. So you might ask, if WhyGuru is everywhere, then why can't we see WhyGuru? It's a valid question. I've asked myself that as well. So let's think about a glass of milk, whole fat milk. If I tell you there's ghyo in that milk, ghyo meaning clarified butter in that milk, who would believe me? Raise your hand if you believe me if I say that there's ghyo in milk. Think about it. And raise your hand if you believe me. You have 5 seconds. Okay, you believe me? Okay. Who believes me? Raise your hand. ऐदां ही ना तुसी एक दूजे नूं देख के हाथ खड़े करी चलो. Think about it. Do you believe me if I say there's ghyo in the milk? Raise your hand. Okay, you don't believe me? Okay, that's fine. I'll see you later. Okay, you believe me? Okay. Those that don't believe me, raise your hand. Okay. It's fair. You can say that maybe, I cannot see the ghyo in the milk. I don't taste it. Then it's not there, which is fair. But if we take whole fat milk, the fresh milk that's been taken out of the cow, it's whole fat. There's fatty layer in there, and then there's a liquidy layer in the milk. If we take the fat layer out and we churn it, what happens? You produce butter. Okay, so we did this really cool experiment. You can do it with your kids as well. We did it in Kiddie Sangat in Toronto. We took that fatty layer of milk and we put it in a jar, in a glass jar, and we put the lid on and we shook it vigorously. And we told the kids, as you're shaking it, do WhyGuru Simran, say WhyGuru. And if you do Simran, then butter will come. And they're like so cute. They're like, WhyGuru, WhyGuru, WhyGuru. And they're like shaking that jar. And lo and behold, just within a few minutes, butter appeared. So from butter, we know that if we melt the butter, and we sift it, I think we made it today, we made ghyo today out of butter, that ghyo appears. So, even in Gurbani it says, Sagal banaspat meh beh santar, sagal doodh meh giya, that within wood, fire is already there. The ag is already there. All it needs is a little bit of spark for it to come out. So just like that, sagal doodh meh giya, that within milk, ghyo is already there. So it wasn't me saying it was actually Gurbani saying it. Maharaj was saying that. So just like we had to churn that milk, we had to churn that fatty layer of the milk to get the butter out, just like that, we need to churn our mind to experience WhyGuru, to see WhyGuru, to be one with WhyGuru. I thought that was really cool. Maharaj going to say, So prab chitana avai, kitada dukh gana. So those that don't remember WhyGuru, they suffer in so much pain. That pain is unimaginable. That pain is depression, anxiety, negativity, anger issues, ego. All of these things, they affect us. That pain that is keeping us separated from WhyGuru, we cannot even imagine that pain. But what about, this is the pain at least that we can see physically, but what about the pain that we cannot even see? That pain of death. So there is a Sakhi of one person coming to the Mahapurkh, a saintly being, and they said, how much pain do we feel when we die? When this soul is leaving the body, how much pain do we feel? And the Mahapurkh, they said, that pain is unimaginable. You can't even imagine that pain. It's so much. And he said, I really want to know. Can you please tell me? And they said, okay, think about this. Take a string of sharp thorns, put them in your mouth, and take them out through your rear end. That's how much pain that you feel, and that's just an iota of the pain that we feel when we're dying. But those that remember WhyGuru, those that recite God's name, don't go through this pain. They don't have to go through this pain of death. So if anything, if the rest of the Katha wasn't a motivation enough for us to start doing Simran, this should be a great motivation for us to start doing Simran ASAP, as soon as possible. So Maharaj going to say, Jini Ravya So Prabhu Tina Pag Mana. Those that have experienced God, have the greatest fortune. And we can do that ardas as well. We can do ardas to Maharaj, please bless us with this great fortune that we too recognize our true self, our true origin, which is Paramatma, becoming one with God. In the end, Maharaj say, Har darshan ko man lochda nanak pyas mana, that my mind is yearning for that darshan. My mind is longing for that vision of WhyGuru. Nanak pyas mana, my mind is so thirsty. So just like when we are thirsty, we drink water, our thirst is quenched. Just like that, our spiritual self is thirsty as well. It needs that water of Naam, of Simran, of Gurbani, of Kirtan, of Seva, of Sad Sangat. And Maharaj say, Chet malai so prabhu, tis kya paaye lagada. In this month of Chet, whoever inspires me, whoever encourages me, whoever motivates me, whoever reminds me of remembering my true self, of connecting to WhyGuru, I will touch the feet of those saintly beings. So this is the message that Guru Arjan Desai Ji is giving us. So in summary, there's 3 things that we need to do in this month. Okay, so this is where everybody pays attention now. We're going to do these 3 things. 1, we're going to do ardas to WhyGuru to bless us with the right sangat that inspires us, that motivates us to remember WhyGuru. 2, we're going to put in effort, do sermon every single day, consistently, even if it's for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is. Put aside that time for yourself. Do sermon like we talked about in those stages. Pana, loud to quieter, and then doing sermon in our mind. And we're going to do this consistently every single day. So I saw this video on Instagram. Instagram isn't that bad. You know, we talk about social media, you know, we're all scrolling all the time, but there's good side to it as well. I saw this person holding up a glass of dirty water, and they turned the tap on. I put it on my story as well. They turned the tap on, and that dirty water started to come out, and all that was left behind in that glass was that fresh water. So Simran works like that as well. All the dirt that we have gathered from so many different lifetimes, all that karam that we are having to go through now in this life, when we do Simran, all of that starts to burn away. All of that starts to clear up, and all we have left behind is that self-realization that we are Paramatma, that we are WhyGuru. So that is something that is motivational for us now. We need to put in that effort. ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਮਹਾਂਪੁਰਖਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਮਾਈ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈਏ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚੀਏ. And lastly, the third thing we're going to do is we're going to reflect on where our mind is at. Is it in the world or is it in Paramatma? ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦੇ ਚਿੰਤਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਅਸੀਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਨੂੰ ਚੇਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. That's something that we're going to reflect on. So this is a message of Guru Arjan Desai Ji that they're giving in this month of Chet. And we have set our goal now. We have 30 days. We're going to come back next month and we're going to see where we have gotten the progress that we have made. So Sangat Ji, please forgive me for all the mistakes that I've made. Deho sajjana sisriyan, Jehovah Sahib se mel. And thank you so much for all the love, the support that you've all given us. This series isn't possible without each and every one of you. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for dedicating your time. And thank you to the Gurdwara Sahib as well for giving us this time, this space as well, so that we can all walk hand in hand together and connect to WhyGuru and reach our goal, which is becoming one with Paramatma, one with God. WhyGuru Ji ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji ki Fateh.